I'm taking ESL classes at Lord Five Fats Community College. This is my second semester, and I'm from Venezuela, so I'm going to talk a little about it. Let me share the screen to the presentation. Okay. Um, Okay, I'm going to talk about Venezuela. Where is Venezuela? Venezuela is located in the north of South America. It is bordered with three countries and two bodies of water. The Caribbean Sea in the north, as you can see in the picture, Guyana and the Atlantic Ocean in the east. This is Guyana. Brazil in the south, and Colombia is in the border in the west and southwest. To be more specific, I'm from San Cristobal, which is part of Venezuelan highlands or Los Andes. The climate. Although Venezuela climate lies within the tropics, it can depend on the elevation. For example, the lowland can enjoy a tropical weather, while the high zones or mountainous region can enjoy cold weather. Um, the most part of the country temperatures can go between 70 to 85 Fahrenheit degrees, while the highest mountain regions can have temperatures around 46 degrees Fahrenheit, because in some spots there are snow, not all the year, but there are snow in many spots of the mountains region. The seasonal variations in the Venezuela are depend more on rainfall than on the temperature, and due to the country's location, it can change throughout the year. So we only have two seasons, which are rainy seasons that are from May to December, and it is also known as winter. And January, February, March, and April is classified as summer, the rest of the year. As I said before, the tropical temperature is in the most part of the country, and then the subtropical that can go between 64 to 70 Fahrenheit degrees, which are the yellow areas. And then temperate temperatures, which are in the middle, like it is not too cold or too hot, can go between 50 to 64 Fahrenheit degrees. And finally, the polar temperatures, which are in the mountainous region, can go between 32 to 50 Fahrenheit degrees. The educational system. In Venezuela, there are two kinds of schools, the public and private schools. The public schools can offer free meals or free supplies that students need, and students don't have to pay an annual fee to get education. While in private schools, they don't offer free meals, and the annual fee is a little higher, so that depends. But in both, students must wear a uniform. So in kindergarten or preschool, students must wear a red t-shirt, while in primary education, students wear a white t-shirt like this or shirt. And then in middle education, students wear a blue t-shirt. And finally, in secondary education, which are the two last years, they have to wear a brown t-shirt. Now, I'm going to talk about natural wonders. In Venezuela, there are many natural wonders that some of them are very known around the world. One of those are El Salto Ángel or Angel Falls. It is located in the Guyana highlands. It is the tallest waterfall in the world, and also it is 15 times taller than the Niagara Falls. And the water flows down from a flat top mountain. Angel Fall is the highlight of a trip to Canaima National Park. This park is unique in the world because it is home to a wide variety of ecosystems that range from savanna grasslands to tropical rainforests. Now, La Gran Sabana, which is located in the same part that El San Angel Falls are in, um, offers one of the most unusual landscapes in the world because it has rivers, waterfalls, and jungles. The savanna is also home for some of the most important animals of South America, like capybaras, scarlet macaw, giant anteater, fox farmer, and more different kinds of animals. Um, Now, Los Roques. Los Roques Archipelago is a collection of about 350 islands in the port of La Guaira. Los Roques is known for its natural beauty because the sand is really soft and white and the water is really clear. You can see all under the water. So many people go to Los Roques because of the wildlife there, and also the fishing and scuba diving in the archipelago are very extensive. Some of their islands are separated by shallow waters, so you can water from one to another island easily. And Los Llanos, or the plains, it is a vast tropical wetland, and it is also home to a wide variety of animals such as flamingos, and it is also the main place where live the capybaras, is this animal that you can see in the picture, um, which is the world's largest rodent, and its size is about a pig, maybe. Um,
It's a funny looking thing.
yeah,
It's really looking.
yeah. Now the typical food. The food in Venezuela can vary depending on the region, but the most known plates are arepa, which is, I think, is the principal food in Venezuela. It is made up from cornmeal, and you can stuff it with meat, chicken, ham, cheese, honestly, whatever you want, vegetables, and they can be fried, baked, or grilled. And then we have empanadas, um, which are made from cornmeal and they are fried, and you can stuff them with seafood, fish, meat, rice, and meat, chicken. Another one is cachapas. They look like pancake, but it is made from cornmeal, and you can stuff them with mozzarella cheese or pork, meat, um, wherever you want. Ayakas. It is an important plate in Venezuela, but Venezuelans usually cook it in Christmas. So it consists in pork, chicken, meat, onions, olive, green olive, peppers, raisins, and all that ingredients go into corn dough, and then you wrap it with banana leaf, yeah. And
Can I
the
ask,
other,
do you eat the outside of that? Do you eat the yellow part?
yes, we eat the yellow part,
Okay,
but not the green leaf.
not the, okay.
And finally, the pabellon. It consists in rice, black beans, meat, fried plantains, and usually people add a fried egg. And I think that's the most significant plate in Venezuela. Like, is known around the country. And now, typical festivals. In Venezuela, there are many typical festivals, but for example, Carnival is one of the most important around the country. We celebrate Carnival in February, 40 days before Easter, and people usually have water fights with balloons, and they also have dance, music, family festivities, and parades. And especially in the city of El Callao, people enjoy dressing in costumes of royal court, like king, queens, jesters, as well as modern movie and cartoon characters.
So
And
that's kind of similar to Mardi Gras, which is in New Orleans.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, because
People,
that's always the end of, that's, the beginning of Lent. So if
yeah.
you're 40 days before, it's about the same thing.
Mhm.
So cool.
Yeah, and Dancing Devils of Yare. Um, it is a pagan Christian celebration in San Francisco de Yare, Miranda State, on Corpus Christi Day, where people wear red garments, layers of street fabric, and they use a mask of grotesque appearance, as you can see in the picture. Um, and they also have accessories like crosses, scapulars, rosaries, and other sorts of amulets. And now the festival of San Juan. Um, the festival of San Juan is usually the bonfires of Saint John, which is a popular festival celebrated around Saint John's Day's Eve, which is on June 23, around Venezuela. For this festival, people gather together and create large bonfires. And also, this festivity is devotion, and it is given to the patron Saint Francis of Paula. As it is this saint in the middle. So
Is this
people
a
usually,
real person? Is this a real person or is it a doll or just a
no,
figurine?
it's a doll, it's
Oh,
the
okay.
saint. So people
Okay.
usually dance around him
Okay.
or go walking on the streets showing the people.
Cool.
Yeah.
And when is that? When do they have that festival?
Oh, we have that on May.
Okay.
Yeah, May. And now I'm going to talk to conclude about current situation. Venezuela has been governed for the past 20 years by the Socialist PSUV party since 1999 to his death in 2013. Hugo Chavez was the president, and after his death, um, he was proceed for his right-hand man, Maduro, Nicolas Maduro. Under President Maduro, Venezuela's economy collapsed. Shortages of basic supplies became widespread, prompting more than 5 million people leave the country. Venezuela is facing a serious humanitarian emergency with millions unable to access basic healthcare and adequate nutrition. And now, with the pandemic, limited access to safe water in homes and healthcare centers has contributed to the spread of COVID-19. I mean, it's worse than ever with the pandemic. And as you can see in the picture, in the left picture, it is a supermarket. So it is supposed to be food on the shelf, but there's nothing, sadly. And on the right picture, people have to go to another sometimes cities to have to get water, and that water is not even clean. I mean, they're not supposed to clean that water, but it is what it is. People doesn't have anything else.
Wow.
So thank you. That's it.
Jordani, how long have you been in the United States?
I've been here 2 years. This
Okay.
month, 2 years. Yes.
This month, 2 years. And where do you live now?
I live in Marshall.
Can you tell us how Marshall is different from where you lived?
Oh well, it is really different. Um, I don't know. Here is really quiet. Everything is like in order, And in Venezuela, I don't know. Everything is really different. Um, you usually hear many sounds. It's very noisy in Venezuela, and here is very really calm, really quiet. But I like it. Yeah.
When you say really noisy, what do you mean? Was it a big city so you heard sirens and fire
Yeah.
trucks? And was it a big city? Did you live in a big?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and Marshall is not a big city.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be a little city. So yes, that is different. Do you live in a house in Marshall
I
or in
live
a
in a townhouse.
townhouse? And how is that different from where you lived before?
Where before I used to live in a house, in a
Okay.
big house. So it is different because the space of the townhouse is really small. But I mean now I'm fine with that. I don't need more space. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And so what was your school like in Venezuela?
I studied in a private school, and I studied for 11 years, 1 year less than here. And I graduated when I was 16. People usually graduated when they are 17 or 18. So I graduated 1 year before I should graduate.
Okay. What was the school like? What was your school like there? How is it
Oh,
how is
in
it
the
different?
in the school I studied, we had like uh, primary school, middle school, and high school in the same place, so we don't have to change to another school.
Mhm.
And we had like sections section A, section B, different students, and that um, since ninth grade you can choose if you want like um, humanity, humanity or science like degree or something like, yeah, a certificate. So the last 2 years you study in the area you choose.
Okay. And so how many students were in your school? Was it a big school or a little school?
Yeah, it is a big school. In all the grades, like from first grade to 11th grade, we were like 700 students, I think.
Okay. Did you go to high school in Fauquier County at all?
No, I
No, you did
didn't.
not. Okay. And so if you would have gone to college in Venezuela, how would you have done that? Can what are the
Well, like 2 months before you graduated from high school, you have to take a test to know if you can go to the college.
uh-huh.
And in some college you have to take a test, like a knowledge test, to be able to start your classes. So I took that test. I passed the test, and I just was waiting to start medicine in college when I moved here.
Okay. And so is it free?
um, there are some college which are free, but the most part of them are private, so you need to pay your education. Yeah.
Okay. And can I ask why your family came here?
Yes, of course. Because of the situation in general, because for example, I was waiting to study, but in college, um, professors, um, I mean, there were no professors to teach in college because of the situation, because the the salary of of a professor is very low, so there's no professors, there's no education, so and the security in the country is really bad. um, uh, People can kill you for a cell phone or your car, so that's very dangerous. So that's why we came here.
Okay, now how did you end up in Marshall? It always amazes me how people end up. I mean, it's not like Marshall's on the map with a red beacon above it for people to find it.
Yeah, when we arrived here, we lived for 4 months in Leesburg with friends of my parents.
Okay.
But Leesburg is a little expensive,
Mhm.
so and in the church we made some friends, and they live here in Marshall. So they told us about the price, the how is Marshall, and we like it, so we
Okay.
moved here.
Okay. Are there more people in your family? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have two brothers.
Okay. Are they older or younger? Are they with you?
Um, no, I'm the oldest.
Okay.
We live together, but I'm the oldest.
And so they're in school in Fauquier County.
Yes, the the younger one, he is in eighth grade, and the other one, he is in 11th grade in high school.
Okay. And how are they doing? Are they doing well, adjusting?
Yes, they're doing pretty well, I think. I think it was easier for them because they need to use English every day. so
Mm-hmm.
they already know speak English, so it was easier in that side, in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, what are your goals at Lord Fairfax? What do you want to do after your English classes?
After I finish my ESL classes, I would like to get a nursing degree or maybe start in the nursing field.
Okay.
So
Okay. Good. Good. What is one thing that you miss about Venezuela
um,
besides the weather? I'd move there for the
yeah,
weather.
yeah. But I really miss my family. I left the most part of my family in Venezuela, so that's what I
Yeah.
miss most.
Yeah. That's hard. That's
Yeah.
So I have a question. So the people that live in the mountains, when you had your map and the little blue areas in the mountains that were the coldest, do people live there or is it just, empty land?
Um, some people live there.
Okay.
Um, they are um not the country like I mean like country people.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but yeah, some people live there, but
Okay.
not a lot.
Yeah. It's not a very big area. And
No,
then
yeah.
do on the 350 islands in the archipelago Los Roques, do
Mhm.
people live on the islands or are they just like little pieces of land that are dotted around? I mean,
Yeah, they're just like pieces of land, and the people who live there is like merchant, yeah, people who work in the island.
okay. And so the island is more like a tourist
Yes,
destination. Yeah, not okay.
not to live. Yeah.
And so I know people on the borders are going into Colombia and into Brazil.
Brazil.
Um, are they coming back or we
Um,
always think of immigration as the border between the United States and Mexico.
Mexico.
Quite often, we think that's the only border in the whole world. And it was interesting looking at Isabella's map, and Brazil touches everybody.
Yeah.
But when the borders to those two countries, Brazil and Colombia, are those borders suffering like our southern border? Are they
Um,
seeing an exodus of people from Venezuela? Is it a
yes.
story? I mean, are people talking about it?
Yes. In the border with Colombia, um, people like 2 years ago maybe people used to go to Colombia, work or buy food and then come back to Venezuela. But now the situation is worse, so people don't come back to Venezuela. They
Yeah,
just leave Venezuela completely. And
yes,
the same with Brazil, yeah.
yeah. Um, and if there is one food that you cannot get here that you miss the most, what would it be?
Um, Here maybe um maybe capybara. You know the animal I show?
Uh huh.
Well, people usually eat the meat of that animal.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a rodent.
Most in the plains, but people do it. Yeah.
What does it taste like?
I think
Like
it
chicken?
tastes like mm, I don't know, like meat. It doesn't have like a special flavor. If someone doesn't tell you it is capybara, you don't notice it.
Yeah, tastes like chicken.
Maybe, yeah.
That's what we say. Everything, if we don't know what it is, we say chicken. Okay, interesting. So, Chris, I know that you're on here. Do you have anything to add? I know I saw her name.
Hello. Yes. Hi.
Hi.
I didn't hear the presentation because I came late. I was working.
Oh, okay. So, do you have
The
anything to add?
situation, well, the situation about immigration right now, all the borders are closed, and people that go by other ways, by the forest, and they try to do the best,
Okay.
but it's very hard.
How long have you been in the United States?
I came on the 1999
Okay.
when the Chavez revolution began in
Oh,
Venezuela.
And so, where are you from in Venezuela? What city? What
I'm
part of
from
Venezuela? Okay.
Maracaibo.
And you're Danny, where are you from? I'm sorry.
I'm from San Cristobal, Táchira.
Okay. And so, how far apart are those two places?
Um,
Oh,
um, I think like 15, 16 hours in car.
Look, I know Chris lives in Warrenton and you live in Marshall, and now you're 10 minutes apart.
Yeah. Yeah, and Maracaibo
yeah.
is one of the hottest states of Venezuela,
Oh, really?
and Táchira or San Cristobal is one of the coldest states.
That's cool. um, so
Yes. Maracaibo's every day is 100 more
oh wow.
the the temperature. Yes.
So so a weather like this is really hard on you.
No, because I'm used now
You're
to
used to
this weather. I don't like hot now.
yes. That's interesting. Okay, great. All right. Well, anybody else have any questions? Chris, do you want to add anything to the presentation about Venezuela?
No, really not. I
No.
think Jordiani has to cover everything about Venezuela.
So
The only bad thing right now is our situation
yeah, and every
about the food, about the medicines, and
yeah, and countries go through these things. The national parks that you had the pictures of course, Angel Falls. Everybody knows Angel Falls, but um, are they still protected?
yes, they are protected.
Yes, and so um, you know, you still have to have trash pickup and things like that. Are those happening?
Yes, they have a people to do that because
Yeah,
still, people go, even the
Mhm.
situation, go to visit.
yeah, yeah. Well, and the Gran Sabana looks like out west in the United States. It could be
Yeah.
almost the same place, like in New Mexico, Utah area. I mean, it's amazing that, well, we don't
Yeah,
have
it's
grasslands,
beautiful.
we just have sand, um,
Mm.
you know, empty land, but it is
And we
beautiful.
have a snow too. Mhm.
Can you go back to your map?
Um,
One more, I think it's back.
this
Yeah,
one.
yeah, this one. So where would
Mhm.
your town have been on the map?
Oh, I
Your
have
Danny.
this one. My town is this one, San Cristobal
Okay.
in Los Andes,
And Chris's would be up
here in
there.
Maracaibo. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Um,
I am 40 minutes from the border with Colombia.
okay.
And And I also like 1 hour from the border to
Border.
Colombia.
Yeah. Yep. It's a beautiful country.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you coming and talking about it, because sometimes we need people to give us real information because we only hear half of the information. So it's great. I'm glad you did it. And you've already been here 2 years too, so that's really good. Thank you for
Yeah.
participating and
You're welcome.
hearing. So, any other questions? No? Okay, we